We are all short of time, and there's always more fun things to do than spend that time organising our finances. But we know that it's important. Fortunately, the really important things can be automated, and in hardly any time at all. So let's get into how to do that. Hi and welcome back to the channel. My name is Pete Matthew and I'm a chartered financial planner based here in the UK, and this video is brought to you by Meaningful Academy. More on that as we go along. Now, the automation of our finances all centers around our income, and for the purposes of this video, I want to chop our income into three bits: money for you, money for your bills, and money for spending. So the first of our automations is kind of a golden rule of personal finance, and that is to pay yourself first. So that means before you pay your mortgage or your rent, before you pay your bills, before you even eat, you pay yourself first. You put money aside to make your own financial situation better. So if this is your income, work out how much of it you're going to pay yourself first with. And remember, we're talking about improving your financial situation, and that can take two forms. Either you pay off debt, bad debt specifically, or you save and invest for the future. And this is the first of our automations. You need to set this money to be carved off as soon as you get paid. This is money that you pay yourself first with. So remember, two uses of that money. You pay off debt. So bad debt I'm talking about here. That's overdrafts, credit cards, personal loans, car finance. Use the debt snowball approach to pay off debt. It's the best way, I think, to pay off debt effectively and quickly. I did a video on it. It's a really old video. I have a suit on and my hair is brown. So watch it just for that spectacle, if nothing else. But it also explains the debt snowball and how to work it. Now, the other thing you can do with your pay yourself first money is to save it or invest it. So you just need to set up a standing order or a direct debit into a pension or ISA. Job done. And the power of this automation really is that you don't ever really see the money. You don't get used to having it because it goes out as soon as you get paid. Just one last little point. Don't ever dilute your effort. If you've got bad debt, pay that off first. Don't be tempted to invest alongside. Put all your money against clearing the debt, and then you'll have even more money to invest. The second of our automations is to make sure that our bills are paid. And what we do now is to carve off the next bit of our money for fixed monthly bills. These are the bills that are generally the same amount every month. So, your house insurance maybe, or your car insurance, energy bills, mobile phone bill, that sort of thing. And the best and easiest automation that I've ever come across is to have two current accounts, one for your bills and one for your spending. And all you do is you make sure that you leave enough in one account to cover all your monthly bills. So then the direct debits go out of that account. And then whatever's left, you move to a second account, and that's your spending account. This has a couple of advantages. Firstly, you know you're never going to miss a direct debit. And secondly, you only have to budget what's left. Again, this is probably the simplest and most powerful automation of all. Do this on or just after your payday. Automation number 3 is to get the best value automatically. And so we just talked about making sure our bills are paid, but quite a bit of those bills each month will be energy costs, most likely. And these days there are services available which will continually look for better energy deals than the one you're on, and they will offer to switch it for you. So if they find a better deal, they'll send you an email. Here is how much you could save. Would you like to go ahead? You click once and they look after it all for you. It's almost like this is what the internet was invented for, to be able to save us money automatically. There's an outfit called Look After My Bills. That's probably the most famous of these services because it was on Dragon's Den, but others are available. Some of them you pay for and some of them are free. The free ones tend to be more limited in scope. The paid for ones are much more independent, but the idea is, of course, that even though you're paying a small amount every month, you should save that many times over because of the savings that the service makes for you. There's a brilliant comparison on Money to the Masses, which is the site of my friends Damien and Andy, and it's an absolutely fantastic website. I'll put a link to the comparison of these energy bill saving sites in the description. Here's another little automation for you. If you're liking this video and you want to find out whenever we put up a new one, like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And the next video will show up automatically in your YouTube feed. Perfect. Okay, so we've paid ourselves first by carving off money to pay off debt or save and invest for the future. We've also made sure that all our monthly bills are paid and that those bills are optimized automatically if possible. What's left is what we have to spend each day, and that's what we need to budget. That's what we need to keep control over. Now, often these costs are variable. They change a little bit every day and every month, and so they're a little bit hard to keep track of. Nobody really wants to keep a pocket notebook and write everything down that they're spending. Fortunately, we live in the age of apps these days, and there are some brilliant budgeting apps, either separate or part of your bank, which will really help you automate the whole budgeting and spending process. So you tell the app what your budget limits are, like I don't want to spend any more than £300 this month on food, and the app will help you keep track. Now, as far as a banking app is concerned, Monzo is probably the best. It'll automatically categorize your spending, you'll get reports at the month end, and alerts as you approach the spending limits that you have set. There's another brilliant app called Emma, which is not part of a bank, but it will connect to any bank and analyze your spending as you go along. It'll look for rogue subscriptions that you're either not using or paying too much money for. You can get cash back by spending in certain stores, and the app will suggest ways to save money as you go along. There's a few tiers in the Emma app, and you get more or less depending on whether you're on a free tier or a paid tier. Now, there's another comparison guide to these and other budgeting tools on the Money to the Masses site. Again, I'll put a link in the description. But the whole point is to help you keep control of your monthly budget. It's so important. It's a kind of fundamental, foundational skill to make your financial situation better. And because it's so important, you can find out more about it at Meaningful Academy, and specifically in the financial foundations phase of the academy. There you can learn about budgeting, you can learn how to pay off debt quickly with the debt snowball, or a whole load of stuff about mindset, protecting your income and your life. There's a whole bunch of information in there, and it's free. Head over to meaningfulacademy.com and choose Financial Foundations and check it out. Did I mention it's free? Yeah, I definitely did. Okay, let's talk about investing automation, because investing is a big subject. You need to kind of understand it and learn about it. We're not going to do that today, but really the basics of investing are spread your money around, keep an eye on the balance between the things that you've spread your money around, and don't fiddle with it too much. And there is a way of automating that, except for the not fiddling. That's always going to be your job. And it's called a multi-asset fund. So this is a kind of off-the-shelf portfolio. And it does all the stuff for you. So you'll get a fund with shares and bonds and maybe some other stuff like property and gold. And it does the spreading around for you. And also, it'll make sure that the balance between shares, bonds, gold, property, and all that stuff doesn't get too far out of kilter. If it does, it will rebalance and bring things back into line. So when you set up your pay yourself first money, or if you're employed, you will have a workplace pension too, have a look for a multi-asset investment. It really is the simplest way to set and forget your investing. It's a kind of one and done, fire and forget solution. And these days, if you don't have one, you can set up an ISA or a pension online in less than 5 minutes. It really doesn't take long, and of course, it's a brilliant idea. Now again, there's much more on investing at Meaningful Academy, this time in the Build Wealth phase of the Academy. Now Build Wealth is paid for, right? So check out the page, meaningfulacademy.com, click on Build Wealth and see if it's for you. If it is and you decide to sign up, use the coupon code YouTube for a discount. And remember, there's a 30-day guarantee. So if you get in there and you decide the course isn't for you, just let us know and we'll give you your money back. No questions asked. Okay, so we've covered a bunch of automations that are super useful, but don't take up much time at all. But automation is great, but it's really important to stay on top of our finances. They do need reviewing fairly regularly, and some of that can't be automated. And we know this, right? We know that it's important to stay on top of our finances, but life is busy, time goes away from us. It's really easy to forget, I'll get to that next month, or I'll get to it after Christmas. And before you know it, 3 years have gone by since you really sat down to review your finances. So one way to stay on top of it is to force yourself to remember to review your finances. And the easiest way is to just set a recurring calendar appointment with yourself to do that. So pick a date. Doesn't matter when in the year it is, but it should be about annually. J.L. Collins, who wrote the brilliant personal finance book, The Simple Path to Wealth, he uses his wife's birthday as the reminder to do his annual financial review. I wonder what his wife thinks about that. I mean, he could have chosen his own birthday. But just pick a day, put it in your calendar, and resolve to keep that appointment with yourself. Annually is plenty regularly enough for the most part. But you might also want to review your finances if something pretty major happens, like you change your job, or you realize you're pregnant and going to have a baby, or there's a relationship change or whatever. Any significant change in your situation like that, you want to do a kind of ad hoc review, as well as doing one annually. Now, I did a video on exactly what an annual review should entail, what you should do each year. I'll put a link to that in the notes. So the basics of day-to-day financial management can and should, I would argue, be automated. Why? Because it allows you to get on with living. But the great thing is that each one of these steps takes just a few minutes to set up, but it means that you don't have to spend a lot of time thinking about them. But while you're not thinking about them, your finances are still moving forward. You're still making sure your bills are paid. You're paying down your debt. You're saving and investing for the future. You are becoming wealthier and better off, but it's happening every single month on autopilot. Hope that was helpful, folks. Thank you so much for watching. If it was, then do like and subscribe to the channel. There's plenty more where this came from. While you're waiting for the next one, maybe watch this video next. It's all about the 7 habits of financially effective people. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.